Hello, good morning everyone. Now today we are going to see about quinolones. Now quinolones are synthetic antimicrobial agents having quinolone structure. These are primarily active against gram-negative organisms and also gram-positive organisms. Newer fluorine compound having action against fluorinated compound having action against gram-positive organisms also. The first member of the quinolone was nalidixic acid, which was introduced in 1960. Now all these quinolones, they have got a bactericidal action. Their action increased because of their utility of the quinolones increased because of their relative safety, their availability both orally as well as parenterally, and their favorable pharmacokinetics. Since the first member was nalidixic acid, which was introduced in 1960, in 1980, fluorination of the quinolone structure at position 6 and introduction of piperazine substitution at position 7, resulting in the derivatives, which was called as fluoroquinolones. Now these fluoroquinolones were having high potency. These were having a wider spectrum of activity. Another one characteristic of these fluoroquinolones, that was development of resistance slowly. It has got a better tissue penetration and it is more tolerable. The first nalidixic acid, which was mainly effective against gram-negative bacteria. These organisms, the gram-negative organisms like E. coli, Proteus, Klebsiella, Enterobacter, Shigella, but it is not effective against Pseudomonas. They act by inhibiting the bacterial DNA gyrase. It is a bactericidal agent. This is absorbed when given by oral route, and the high concentration attained in urine and gut. Nalidixic acid, which was not used systemically because when it is given, it produces a subtherapeutic concentration. The concentration which is achieved in plasma and tissues is not adequate and therefore is not useful systemically. Mostly, since it has got a high concentration, achieved high concentration in urine and gut, therefore mostly it is useful or used in the treatment of urine tract infection and gastrointestinal tract infection like dysentery, diarrhea. The adverse effect which is produced by nalidixic acid, number one, neurological, most important one, that is headache, drowsiness, vertigo, visual disturbances, and occasionally it may produce seizure. It also causes a photosensitivity, and most important one, the adverse effect produced by or seen with nalidixic acid as a hemolysis when it is given in the patient having G6PD deficiency. It is contraindicated in infants. As far as its uses, it is used as a urinary antiseptic and therefore used in the treatment of urinary tract infection, specifically caused by E. coli, Proteus, Klebsiella, Enterobacter, and Shigella-like organisms. It is used in the treatment of diarrhea also caused by Proteus, Salmonella, Shigella, and E. coli. Now, as far as the fluoroquinolones are concerned, these are the quinolones which are having one or more fluorine substitution. Now, depend upon the fluorine substitution, they are classified into mainly first generation and second generations fluoroquinolones. The first generation fluoroquinolones having one fluorine substitution, which was introduced in 1980s. In 1930, additional fluoro and other substitutions have developed and having a further extending antimicrobial activity to gram positive and anaerobes also. And these are called as a second generation fluoroquinolones. It was classified as a first generation, second generation, third generation, and fourth generation. The first generation was nalidixic acid and cianoxacin, which was used or effective against gram negative, but not effective against Pseudomonas species. The second generation, this fluoroquinolones was norfloxacin, ciprofloxacin, and ofloxacin and pfloxacin. They are mainly effective against gram positive as well as gram negative organisms. Now, third generation fluoroquinolones, they are levofloxacin, sparfloxacin, moxifloxacin, gemifloxacin. They are having a wider spectrum of activity. Not only they are effective against gram negative organisms, but also having an extended spectrum against gram positive organisms as well as atypical organisms also. Now the fourth generation, that is profloxacin, it is not available now. These are having a wider spectrum as similar to that of third generations fluoroquinolones. Now, newly they are classified only as first and second generations. Now, the first generations fluoroquinolones are norfloxacin, ciprofloxacin, ofloxacin, and pfloxacin. And the second generations fluoroquinolones are, they are levofloxacin, lomefloxacin, sparfloxacin, moxifloxacin, gemifloxacin, and rulifloxacin. The older agents with poor activity against gram positive organisms. Now the newer fluoroquinolones, which has got a wider range of activity, like methicillins susceptible, then Staphylococcus aureus, Streptococcus pneumoniae, against which the first generation these fluoroquinolones are not effective. A group and viridans streptococci, which has got these fluoroquinolones limited activity. Enterococcus species, they are having action against these. Now, particularly all these are effective against Enterobacter, including E. coli, Klebsiella species, Enterobacter species, Proteus, Salmonella, Shigella, and Serratia marcinis. They are also effective against H. influenza, Neisseria species, that is a Neisseria gonorrhea and Neisseria meningitis. Then they are having action against Pseudomonas aeruginosa also. The development of resistance against some organisms are seen with these fluoroquinolones. A newer one, fluoroquinolones are having action against anaerobic bacteria also. Then atypical bacteria having an excellent against which having an excellent activity. Legionella pneumonia. Then the organisms which are susceptible like chlamydia species, mycoplasma species, and ureaplasma. Other bacteria, that is Mycobacterium tuberculosis and Bacillus anthracis. As far as its mechanism of action is concerned, these fluoroquinolones, they are bactericidal and they produce its action, antibacterial action, by inhibiting the bacterial DNA gyrase. Now this DNA gyrase which nicks or cut the double-stranded DNA, then introduces a negative supercoil in them and then reseal the cut end. DNA gyrase consists of two subunits, that is A and B subunit. A subunit carry out nicking of DNA or cutting of DNA. B subunit introduces the negative supercoil and then A subunit reseals the cut end, that is reseal the strands. Fluoroquinolones bind to A subunit with high affinity and interfere with its strand cutting and resealing function. In gram-positive bacteria, the major target of fluoroquinolones action is similar enzyme, that is topoisomerase 4, which nicks and separate daughter DNA strand after DNA replication. Now DNA gyrase is a topoisomerase 2 that catalyzes the negative supercoiling of the circular DNA found in bacteria. Topoisomerase 4, on the other hand, is involved in the relaxation of the supercoiled circular DNA, enabling the separation of the interlinked daughter chromosomes at the end of bacteria DNA replication. This is the mechanism of action shown here. For the gram-negative bacteria, primary target is DNA gyrase, whereas for gram-positive bacteria, the primary target is topoisomerase 4. Now here, the antibacterial spectrum of quinolones. Since we are talking about the first generation, second generation, third generation, and fourth generation fluoroquinolones, the first generation quinolones which are used less often today now have a moderate gram-negative activity. They achieve minimum serum concentration and are restricted to the treatment of uncomplicated urinary tract infection and also the gastrointestinal tract infection like dysentery, diarrhea. Second generation fluoroquinolones have expanded gram-negative activity against gram-negative organisms as well as gram-positive organisms. Some of the atypical organisms are also susceptible to the second generation's fluoroquinolones such as Mycoplasma pneumoniae and Chlamydia organisms. The third generation fluoroquinolones, they retain the expanded gram-negative activity as well as gram-positive and also action against atypical organisms. The fourth generation fluoroquinolone shows improved gram-positive coverage, maintains gram-negative activity, and gains having action against anaerobic organisms also. Now here, the enzymes required for DNA replications, that is the topoisomerase 2, which is the DNA gyrase, and topoisomerase 4. Quinolones interact with the topoisomerases, stop DNA replications. Now, this is seen with nalidixic acid and ciprofloxacin. They inhibit the bacterial DNA synthesis by inhibiting DNA gyrase and topoisomerase 4 and therefore causes rapid cell death, and therefore this action is a bactericidal action of fluoroquinolones. Now this is a mechanism of DNA gyrase showing here. Stabilized positive node, breaking of the segments of double-stranded DNA, and the reselling of this DNA stranded. Now, as far as its absorption of fluoroquinolones is concerned, having a good and oral bioavailability is very good. They are absorbed better, but the food interferes its absorption. Absorption is decreased when it is used along with calcium, magnesium, ferrous, and antacids. There is a good distribution and tissue penetration is good. They achieve a higher concentration in prostate, bile, lung, but they cross blood-brain barrier poorly. Elimination is through the renal. These are showing, though the resistance is slow, but some organisms are showing resistance to fluoroquinolones, and the resistance may be due to chromosomal mutation. The DNA gyrase and topoisomerase 4, which reduces the affinity for fluoroquinolones. This is one of the reasons for the development of the resistance. And second one is a reduced permeability across the cell membrane. And the organisms which are likely to develop resistance to fluoroquinolones are Salmonella, Pseudomonas, Staphylococci, and Pneumococci. Most potent first generation fluoroquinolones, which is a prototype, particularly the second generation from this uh, generations like the fluoroquinolones, which are like norfloxacin, ciprofloxacin, ofloxacin, and pfloxacin. Among these, the prototype drug is a ciprofloxacin, which is the most potent this fluoroquinolones, which is having action against many gram negative as well as positive organisms, but basically it is more active against gram negative bacilli, especially the Enterobacter and Neisseria organisms are highly susceptible to ciprofloxacin, and against gram positive bacteria they needed in a higher concentrations. The organisms which are highly susceptible to ciprofloxacin is they are, for example, E. coli, Klebsiella pneumoniae, Enterobacters, Salmonella typhi, Shigella, Proteus, Neisseria gonorrhoeae, Neisseria meningitis, H. influenza, H. dukkeri, Campylobacter jejuni, Yersinia enterocolitica, and Vibrio cholerae. These are particularly the organisms which causes GIT infection, like dysentery diarrhea. Some organisms which are moderately susceptible to ciprofloxacin, these are Staphylococci, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, Legionella, Brucella, Listeria, Bacillus anthracis, and Mycobacterium tuberculosis. They are also effective against Mycoplasma and Chlamydia. Mycobacterium avium complex and Mycobacterium concisi are also susceptible to ciprofloxacin. Now this is less effective against gram-positive organisms like Streptococci pneumoniae and other Streptococci like pyogenes and other species of Streptococci. They have ciprofloxacin have got some distinct features like number one, it is a bactericidal agent having a very high potency against many organisms. Second one is it has got a long post antibiotic effect, particularly against Enterobacter, Pseudomonas, and Staphylococci in organism. The development of resistance is slow. Another feature is it is active against many beta-lactam and aminoglycoside resistant bacteria. And lastly, it is less effective in acidic pH. As far as its pharmacokinetic is concerned, it is rapidly and completely absorbed orally. When it is given after the food delay its absorption. It has got some first pass metabolisms. Ciprofloxacin has got a good tissue permeability. It is more concentrated in lungs, sputum, muscle, prostate, and the concentration achieved more than the plasma. It attains a low concentration in CSF. It achieves a higher concentration in urinary as well as biliary, that is a bile. As far as its adverse effects are concerned, ciprofloxacin, which causes some GIT side effects like nausea, vomiting, anorexia, bad taste, and sometimes diarrhea. Main adverse effect or important adverse effect produced by ciprofloxacins are related to CNS, central nervous system, like headache, dizziness, restlessness, anxiety, and loss of sleep. It also causes impairment of concentrations. In higher doses, sometimes it may leads to, that is like a tremors and sometimes seizures, though it is rare. This may be because of its gamma aminobutyric acid antagonistic action. The another adverse effect seen with ciprofloxacin is related with skin and hypersensitivity. In some patients, it causes skin rashes, pruritus, photosensitivity, urticaria, and swelling of lips. And it may produce an adverse effect like tendinitis and tendon rupture, and particularly seen in patients over 60 years of age, and those particularly in patient receiving corticosteroids. As far as its contraindication is concerned, it should not be given in pregnancy and in children. And in children particularly, it causes cartilage damage. So therefore, it should not be used in children. It may produce some interactions when it is given along with some other drugs. The drugs likely, for example, number one, theophylline. Mostly the patient who is suffering from bronchial asthma or respiratory tract infection, where bronchial asthma treated by giving theophylline, and this bronchial asthma may precipitate because of the respiratory infection, for which ciprofloxacin may be given as an antimicrobial agent. If ciprofloxacin and theophylline is given together, it may increase the concentration of theophylline and leads to the toxicity of theophylline. Then another drug is caffeine, where it also increases its concentration in the plasma. Then another drug is warfarin sodium. If the concentration of warfarin is increased by ciprofloxacin, it may lead to the toxicity of warfarin in terms of bleeding tendency. This may be Because of the fluoroquinolones, particularly this ciprofloxacin inhibits the metabolism of theophylline, caffeine, and warfarin sodium, and hence it leads to its toxicity. Then another group of agents like NSAID is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. This leads to the toxicity of ciprofloxacin, leading to seizures. Then, if it is given along with the drug like sucralfate, antacids, ferrous sulfate, these drugs decrease the absorption of ciprofloxacin, uh, and other fluoroquinolones, and therefore decrease the viability of these agents. Now, coming to its therapeutic uses, ciprofloxacin is used in the treatment of urinary tract infection, most important indication for the use of fluoroquinolones, because it has got a high cure rate even in complicated urinary tract infection, or when there is presence of catheters, indwelling catheters. Uh, and then another one is prostatitis, a prostate infection, where these fluoroquinolones are very effective. Then the gonorrhea, sexually transmitted disease caused by penicillinase producing Neisseria gonorrhea or non-penicillinase producing this gonorrhea. Ciprofloxacin in a single dose of 500 milligram causes 100% cure in this condition. Then another indication is chancroid, where 500 milligram ciprofloxacin given twice a day for 3 days is very effective. In this condition, chancroid, the first drug of choice is ceftriaxone, that is a cephalosporin. Then macrolide antibiotic like azithromycin. Fluoroquinolone is an alternative drug to this ceftriaxone and azithromycin. Then another use is gastroenteritis and dysentery, bacterial dysentery diarrhea caused by Salmonella organism, then Shigella, Campylobacter jejuni. These are the organisms which likely to produce or causing gastroenteritis, where these fluoroquinolones are very effective. Then typhoid fever, the first drug of choice, where it is given in the dose of 750 milligram twice a day for 10 days. And if the patient is not in a position to take the drug by oral route, then it may be given intravenously 12 hourly in the dose of 200 milligrams. The advantage of giving ciprofloxacin in typhoid fever are advantages of giving ciprofloxacin in typhoid fever. These are: number one is quick effervescence. Second one is early relief from the symptoms. Third one is low incidence of the relapse, and the complications are less. Because if the typhoid fever is not treated adequately by giving other drugs, the chances of relapse are more. But if ciprofloxacin is given, there are low incidence of developing that means relapse of typhoid fever. It also used for prevention of carrier state because of its cidal actions, bactericidal actions. And this can be also used for the treatment of the typhoid carrier patients. So these are the advantages of using ciprofloxacin in the treatment of typhoid fever. Then another use of ciprofloxacin, that is a bone infection, particularly osteomyelitis. In this, larger doses of ciprofloxacin is given for a longer period. Then soft tissue infection. Another one is gynecological infection. And then again, it is also useful in the treatment of wound infection. Then another use is the treatment of diabetic foot. And mostly this is because of this, maybe because of the infection caused by anaerobic organisms, where it is given along with metronidazole. Then tuberculosis, where it is given in the treatment of multi-drug resistant cases of tuberculosis in combination with other anti-tuberculosis agents. Then another use is the septicemia caused by gram-negative organisms. It is given along with the third generation cephalosporin or along with aminoglycosides antibiotic. Then another indication is meningitis caused by gram-negative organisms. It also used prophylactically in the patient who is taking or treated with anti-cancer drugs or in neutropenic patients. And this is also used topically for the treatment of conjunctivitis. So these are all the therapeutic uses of fluoroquinolones, particularly ciprofloxacin. Now, another fluoroquinolones, that is norfloxacin. Norfloxacin is less potent than ciprofloxacin and is primarily used for the treatment of urine tract infection, and second one is the infection of gastrointestinal tract caused by gram-negative organisms, and that is particularly dysentery, diarrhea. Then the another fluoroquinolone, that is pfloxacin. It is a methyl derivatives of norfloxacin. It is more lipid soluble, absorbed when given orally completely. It is penetrate in the various tissues better than the ciprofloxacin, and it achieves a higher concentration in CSF than other fluoroquinolones, and therefore preferred the treatment of meningitis. It is less effective in the infection caused by gram-positive organisms and infection caused by Listeria. Then coming to ofloxacin. Ofloxacin is less active Then ciprofloxacin against gram-negative organisms. But it is equally effective against gram-positive organisms. It has got a good activity against chlamydia and mycoplasma. It is used in the treatment of atypical pneumonia caused by chlamydia trachomatis. And particularly, it is useful in the treatment of chronic bronchitis and other respiratory tract infection, ENT infections, as well as chlamydial infection. Then levofloxacin. This is a newer fluoroquinolones having extended spectrum of activity not only against gram-negative organisms, but they are more effective against gram-positive organisms. They are useful in the treatment of sinusitis, pyelonephritis, community-acquired pneumonia, prostatitis, and urinary tract infection. This is also having action against tuberculous bacilli and used therefore as a standard regime for the treatment of multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. Coming to the another fluoroquinolones, that is lomefloxacin. It is another generation having a difluoronated quinolone. This is having a higher incidence of phototoxicity and QT prolongations, and therefore it is withdrawn from the therapy. Then coming to sparfloxacin, this is a difluoronated quinolone which has got an enhanced activity against gram-positive organisms, including Bacteroides vaginalis and also anaerobes. It is useful in the treatment of pneumonia, exacerbations of chronic bronchitis, sinusitis, and ENT infections. As far as its adverse effects are concerned, it causes phototoxicity and QT prolongations. Now it has been discontinued in many countries, including USA. Moxifloxacin is a very potent fluoroquinolones having action against gram-positive as well as gram-negative organisms, also having an extended spectrum of activity against mycoplasma and it is used in the treatment of multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. It produces its effect by acting on the enzyme topoisomerase, which is a major target for its action. Now, moxifloxacin is used for the treatment of pneumonia, bronchitis, sinusitis, and otitis media. It should not be used in combination with antiarrhythmic agents because it may also prolongs the QT interval and therefore it may precipitate serious arrhythmia if it is given along with other antiarrhythmic agents. It can also cause phototoxicity. Gemifloxacin, another broad spectrum fluoroquinolone, which is effective against aerobic as well as gram-positive organisms like especially Streptococcus pneumoniae, H. influenza, Moraxella, Chlamydia, and Klebsiella. Some anaerobic organisms are also susceptible to gemifloxacin. As far as its adverse effects are concerned, it causes diarrhea, nausea, headache, and dizziness. It may also produce hepatic damage. If it is given along with warfarin sodium, it increases its toxicity. It is used in the treatment of community acquired pneumonia and for the treatment of acute exacerbation of chronic bronchitis. Then coming to prulifloxacin, this is the newest fluoroquinolones, which is a prodrug of prulifloxacin. Now this is having a broad spectrum antibacterial action against many gram-positive as well as gram-negative organisms. Now prulifloxacin, which is used in the treatment of chronic bronchitis as well as complicated and uncomplicated urinary tract infection. As far as its adverse effects are concerned, it causes urticaria and photosensitivity. It is claimed that it does not prolong the QT interval. Then another fluoroquinolones, newer fluoroquinolones are pozufloxacin and valofloxacin, which has got a extended spectrum of activity, but nowadays it is not commonly used. So mainly, though it is shown that there are first generation, second generation, third generation, and fourth generation fluoroquinolones, but it used particularly are of two types, are having a two classification name. These are first generation fluoroquinolones and second generation these are fluoroquinolones. Now first generation fluoroquinolones are norfloxacin, ciprofloxacin, vofloxacin, and pfloxacin. These are four fluoroquinolones included in this first generation. Now second generations fluoroquinolones are levofloxacin, lomefloxacin, sparfloxacin, moxifloxacin, gemifloxacin, and rulifloxacin. They act by inhibiting the bacterial DNA gyrase and causes the death of the bacterial cell. So therefore they produces bactericidal actions. The first generations mainly are having action against the gram-negative organisms, whereas the second generations fluoroquinolones, they have got an extended spectrum of activity against gram-positive organisms also. So therefore, the second generations like levofloxacin, lomefloxacin, sparfloxacin, gemifloxacin, they are mainly useful or used in the treatment of respiratory tract infection caused by gram-positive organisms like community acquired pneumonia, that is number one, chronic bronchitis, or another one is acute exacerbation of the bronchitis, then ENT infections. So these are few its indications. Now gatifloxacin, though it is included in the fourth generation's fluoroquinolones, it is not used because it causes dysglycemia. In the patients of diabetes mellitus, when it is given, it causes hyperglycemia. And in diabetic patients, when it is treated by giving this diabetic agents, then it produces hypoglycemia. So because of this, it is not used or withdrawn from the therapy. Then trahufloxacin, another fluoroquinolones, which causes photosensitivity. And then another one is that is liver toxicity, hepatotoxicity, and therefore it is also this withdrawn from the therapy. So this is all about the fluoroquinolones. Now ciprofloxacin, which is given in this ciprofloxacin, levofloxacin, sparfloxacin, and moxifloxacin. Ciprofloxacin is given in the dose of 500 to 750 milligram twice a day. Ofloxacin is given in the dose of 200 to 400 milligram twice. Pfloxacin is given in the dose of 400 milligram twice a day. Sparfloxacin 200 to 400 milligram, and levofloxacin 500 milligram.